get this music down. All right, everybody, come on in, come on in. Welcome back to another Ask Us Anything. Go ahead. You have me and Lucy, or Lucy and me, for an hour. So go ahead and put your questions in the chat, or you can click the link to be camera on or camera off. I am Maggie. You may know me as Maggie, the substitute teacher, from my cooking channel. I'm all about food and femininity, and I love helping feminine women attract and keep the masculine man of their dreams. And Lucy and I are the founders of the Finishing School for the Modern Woman, which is a privately taught 8-week Saturday school. We just started our winter session, so we're very excited to help ladies. And we have another announcement that we'll share with you all very soon. But Lucy, please introduce yourself.
Hello, my friends. This is Lucy. I'm hearing a little bit of an echo. Okay, perfect. I'm Lucy. I have a channel that for the past couple of years was mostly focused on teaching Spanish, but now I've moved it over to focusing on things about femininity, elegance, and mostly all that beautiful femininity for women over 50. I know I haven't posted anything yet. I'm still trying to find good content that is worth posting, but I promise you that you will not be disappointed on the first post that I do for my new content for women over 50.
I am so excited for multiple reasons. So yes, you all, Lucy and I are both mature women. I'm 48. Lucy shared that she is 57. And one of the beautiful things about leaning into your femininity and this journey is that it doesn't age. You can be a feminine woman at all ages. And Lucy and I love to teach women to use that as their superpower, which I believe is the best version of ourselves. So the Finishing School, as we're waiting for you all's questions, you can go ahead and put them in the chat or on Instagram or on TikTok. The Finishing School, up until this point, has been for ladies teenager to 60 plus. That's what we have been teaching, and we absolutely love it. But you all have been asking us and asking us and asking us to make something for the little ones. And Lucy and I are so excited to announce tonight. I wish I were a drummer. I wish there was a drum roll. If y'all want to put the drum emoji in the chat while the questions are coming in. We are announcing that this summer, Lucy and I will be teaching the Etiquette Summer School for Kids. So we are taking our content and making it kid-friendly. This is going to be a 4-week privately taught Saturday school in July of 2024. So we will be coming back with details as far as how you can register, as far as the price of the class. The age group will be age 5 to age 15, because in the finishing school we teach ladies 16 to 60 plus. So we are very, very excited to teach the little ones. It will be co-ed. So this will be for our young ladies and our gentlemen, young gentlemen who are interested in learning the common manners and just ways to carry themselves in a way that's fun and in a way that's age appropriate and in a way that's relevant for the time that we live in. Lucy, would you like to add anything?
And I love it because I think that that's part of what we've been missing in the public education system, because we've removed the home economics part. And I think that boys probably had, I think they had some type of vocational part. I don't remember what it was. I don't know if it was carpentry or mechanics, or we're not going to look at that part of manly things to do, but we are going to teach maybe more of a civics minded mentality. And according to that, manners and elegance comes to mind.
Absolutely. So go ahead and stay tuned, spread the word. You can join the mailing list of the finishing school to be the first to know. You can find out all the details at teachablemomentswithmaggie.com and add your name to the list. But Lucy and I do these Q&As for you all once per week. No agenda, no monologue. This is your opportunity to ask us any questions. You can type it in the chat. You can click the link. I'll drop the link. If you want to ask us in person, you can be camera on or camera off. This gives you a taste of what it's like to work with us in our private classes. I do private consults as well as group coaching, and then Lucy and I do the courses and classes together. So ask away if you want the perspective of two older women. In the meantime, any other announcements, Lucy?
Well, we have our April get together coming up, and I'm so excited. The MaggieLu, I don't know, celebration. We're going to be celebrating each other. I believe it's on Friday night, and then on Saturday at Eclipse de Luna, we're going to be dancing. Well, Maggie's going to be dancing. I'll just be just sipping my whatever I'm drinking and watching her dance. And then on Saturday, we're going to have our graduation. It's going to be beautiful at the Cheesecake Factory. And then, of course, Maggie already has an agenda of those days. But she's so cute because she asks me, um, is it okay if we add this additional event on the day that, you're here? So it's going to be amazing. I know that she's a great host and we're going to have so much fun.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So, a little context for you all. Save the date, the first weekend in April. So, it's going to be April 4th, 5th, and 6th. Some of the events are private, some of the events are public. So, we'll go ahead and share what we're working on with you all. But it all started with the finishing school, the fact that it's an online Saturday school. We have ladies from all over the country, all of the time zones. And at the completion of the 8-week finishing school, the ladies do get a digital certificate of completion. But we have very generous donors in our community, and Mr. Option One has said that he would provide plaques for our I'm sorry, not our scholars, for our students, the ladies in the finishing school. And so we wanted to have a graduation celebration party. So the ladies that were in our fall session, as well as those that are in our winter session, will be able to come to Atlanta, and we will be able to present them with their graduation plaques, as well as fellowship amongst each other and put into practice what we learned as far as the dining, the etiquette, the greetings, and all of that. So that's going to be exclusively for the ladies in the finishing school. That's included in their tuition. We're very excited. So the Friday before, Friday, April, whatever the date is, I don't want to mess it up. It's the 5th. Okay. We are having a MaggieLu meetup. This is going to be for everyone in the community. I see your question most. I'll come right back to you. This is going to be at Eclipse de Luna. If you all follow me, you have seen me there at least twice so far. It is a Spanish restaurant and tapas bar here in the Atlanta area. They have 3 locations. We already have a reservation. They have live music. They have salsa dancing and lessons, or like Erin said, shout out to the wallflowers. Y'all can sit back and watch me because you already know. You're going to be like, where is Matt? Okay, there she goes again. But your ticket includes, I think, 9 rounds of appetizers, bottomless sangria. It's just going to be a time to meet, greet, and eat, drink, and be merry because we have people coming, and Lucy's coming to Atlanta. So I'm very excited. She and I have We're going to do a photo shoot. I'm going to take her to tea. We're going to do like a big girl slumber party. It's going to be so much fun. But that's not why we're here. Let's see, what questions do you all have? Hello, Real Benny. I see you here. Thank you so much. But we do have a question on Instagram. And the question is from Most. He says, do you have anything for young men? Up until now, the answer was no, but I don't know when you hopped on. And the reason why is we believe that the older women should teach the younger women. Neither Lucy or I have daughters, and so we have a real heart for young women in the community. And so that was our focus. But for the Etiquette Summer School, which is going to be 4 Saturdays in July, so stay tuned, that will be open for boys and girls 5 to 15. Am I missing anything, Lucy?
I think that's about it. I can't wait for the July summer session. It's gonna be so much fun.
Oh my goodness, yes. Okay, I see a question from Living Adventures. My first time seeing you here, and welcome. The question is how to politely tell your friend that putting your conversation on loudspeaker so okay, so her insecure husband can hear. I don't know. The question is how to tell your friend not to do that, but I'm going to answer based on my understanding, and then Lisa, I'm sorry, not Lisa, Lucy can take a stab at it. We have Lisa in the chat, and I see you there. So, ladies, a lot of what we teach is, in my opinion, common sense, common courtesy, manners that we really should have gotten at home. But for whatever reason, a lot of people just act like whatever they want to do is okay. And for our ladies in the finishing school, we talk about the essence of etiquette is consideration of others. You don't want to do things that draw attention to you. This whole culture of just like, look at me, is actually poor etiquette. You want people to see you and get to know you because of your character and your qualities, not because you come in like a bull in the china shop. So, telephone conversations should never be on speakerphone in a public place. This is at home, coffee shop, well, at home if you have mixed company, but coffee shop, library. You all know we see people walking through the grocery store. Oh yeah, la la la, and they're talking. It drives me nuts. So how would you politely ask somebody not to do that? Knowing me, I would probably offer something like, I have an extra set of headphones if you've forgotten yours. Now, we don't want to, embarrass people. Sometimes people don't know some of the common courtesy. So I try to address it in a way that doesn't shame them. Or, I might even do something like, do you have earphones? But if this is a repetitive thing, and this is your friend, I would probably, at a time when she's not in the middle of the conversation, hey, can I talk to you for a second? I don't know if you were aware, but I'm sure the conversations you're having are private and you don't want everybody to hear. So you may want to consider taking them in another, room, or using headphones. That's what I would say, Lucy. What would you say?
I would probably say if they're in my home and I have an extra guest room, I said, you know what? There's a guest room available there, so you can have your conversation. It sounds like it's pretty heavy, so it would be a good idea that maybe you take it into this room over here as you walk with her. Otherwise, if it's somebody that will not take guidance or direction well, just let it go. And sometimes it's best just to distance yourself from that behavior because it's never going to be compatible with you. You already have let us know that it doesn't go with the way that you think. So it might be that that person might like her business to be out there. And unfortunately, usually when you correct people that like their business to be out there, it just doesn't go well with them because their personality is to be out there anyway. So if you have enough confidence that they will not react, you can guide them to the new area or a new room or a new conference room if you're at work. Otherwise, just observe, make it, understand that that's the way she is and just distance yourself. That's how I would do it.
I love that. I do have a follow up, but coming through again to support the channel. Hello, Mrs. Crotty Shetty with the $20 super chat. Thank you so much for the support. I'm going to put you in the banner. We appreciate it. And hello, everybody coming in. I saw a couple of comments that are funny, but I actually want to address them seriously. 10 Plus Sound says I would give them the eyes. And y'all, it is not beneath me to cut a look. However, Lisa says, I would just let it go because people are crazy these days. I love what Lucy said about if this person is having a conversation in her home, which is a space she can control. Of course, ladies, we never want to put ourselves in a situation that would be unsafe. So, for example, if I were riding the train or God forbid, on a plane or somewhere where it was a public space that it wasn't, how do I say, it wasn't a space that I could control. You really just have to read the room, ladies, and know if this is, I'm answering the question for someone that's your friend. But if it's a stranger, you just have to use your best judgment. And sometimes, even if someone is exhibiting poor etiquette, you just have to suffer through it until you can leave and be in a better location. But we never want you to put yourself at risk. All right, so let's see, was there anything else? Okay, we have a question from Lomiji, and then I'll update you, Mrs. Crotichetti. She says, or Lomiji says, how should a woman deal with other women feeling jealous because of her femininity in social groups and at work? This is a really good question. I may, I don't know if I'm experiencing jealousy is a strong word because jealousy is I want what you have. But I will say this, in modern times, femininity is not promoted as much as feminism is. And so we always tell our students, and I tell the ladies that I work with, if you are going to decide to lead with femininity, you are going to go against the grain. You are going to be the oddball. People are going to look at you like, it don't take all that. I have heard it all. That is why I am creating the community where we belong, because I know when I tell people, I make food and femininity content, people are like, femininity, like it's a bad word. So oftentimes, I do give a little bit of grace because the modern world that we live in has taught women that you need to compete with men as men, which means you need to be as loud, as strong, as hard as men. That's not how we were built, ladies. And I really think when we realize that and when we accept that, you really can blossom and shine. So if someone were to make a comment or were to say, like, I smile all the time, and I remember someone making a comment, I hate to smile. Well, I would probably just personalize it and say, I feel better when I greet people the way that I would love for them to greet me. So I would just try and address it in a way that this is a personal decision that keeps me in my best, happy place or something like that. But one thing that we know, ladies, you are not going to change them. You are not going to nag them. You are not going to convince them. So you worry about what you can control, and you just show up where you show up how you show up. What would you say, Lucy?
I love that, the one about the smile. I would say, well, I just choose to see the beauty in the world. And that you just shut it down like that because you're telling them that you are choosing to be this person. They're not going to have anything to come back because, again, it's your choice. You have decided that that's how you're going to be. And again, you are going to be feeling like you are the odd one in the group. And that's okay because you know what? It's great because you know that you're different. And that's why we are doing these live streams and we are creating the school just to make our own group of people that match what we believe our behaviors and so forth. So again, just let them know I choose to be happy and that's and that's that. And I guarantee you that they are not going to have anything to come back to that because I've done it before. I mean, they're going to go They will have a sour face for the response, but and then you walk away happy because there are some people that do not like to see other people happy. Do not allow them to take your happiness away.
Oh, and believe me, they will try. I love that. Hopefully that's helpful. I'm glad you all give us the feedback. We have a question from Rebecca. She says, question, how can women remain feminine whilst in the gym, especially with strength training, both in how we act and dress while working out, walking around the gym? Well, if I went to the gym to strength train, I would. No, I mean, I've worked at places where they had, fitness centers there, and it is important, ladies. I mean, look, we are not taking care of yourself. Your self-care routine is a huge part of your feminine journey, so let's not discount that. I'll start. You asked a couple of questions as far as how you would show up and then how you would act. So I would say, number one, modesty when you're dressing for the gym. Of course, you want to have active wear on that allows you to move, like these base layers or something that kind of stretches and moves with you. You don't want to have like hanging fabric, so it should be fitted, but not ridiculously tight, because when you're exercising, you're going to be reaching, you're going to be stretching, you're going to be bending. So you don't want to have to be hiking stuff up all the time. Nobody's expecting you to go to the gym in a sundress. That's not appropriate. When we talk about style in the finishing school, a big part of it is dressing for the occasion. So modesty and just making sure that it allows you to move the way you need to move. Now, as far as strength training, obviously, when you're doing something with weights, and I am not a fitness buff, but the goal is to push yourself a little bit so that you will build that muscle. So, yes, you are going to be probably making some of those faces or some of those sounds. I would just say awareness, number one. I know gyms are set up where they have different equipment. Maybe I have seen people in gyms where they kind of get their bells or barbell, whatever it is, y'all know, and kind of get a mat and go to like another corner or like another room or just something if you're feeling a little bit self-conscious. You could also, I know there are like ladies gyms, but you just again don't want to draw attention to yourself, and maybe having like a workout partner or a coach or somebody so you don't just feel like all exposed. And I would just say baby steps. That's what I would say, Lucy. What would you say?
Back in the day when I was very young, I used to do a lot of strength training. And I can tell you that when you go into the area, because there are mainly men around, and unfortunately, we are in an area at the gym that some of these women are looking at men the wrong way. They're thinking that men, for whatever reason, are the enemy. If you walk into a strength training environment as a woman, you smile, you say hello to the people around you. I guarantee you that the men, even though you're going to be doing those bars, those heavy bars, you will have one, two, or three men trying to help you. Lift the information, the lift the weights, lift the when once you're on those weight chairs, then your femininity leads the way, and a smile and dressed modestly. Because men, it seems to me that they no longer get it at the gym. If you walk in with a feeling, a sentiment of, you know what, I'm gonna make friends here, and these are gonna be my group of workout men or people around, you will have a group of people that will always be there to help out. I don't think, I mean, strength training it's kind of like it seems it could be a masculine thing, but if you're feminine, if you're a woman, it automatically takes out the masculinity out of it. So I don't know. I think it's, God, I remember when I used to walk in those areas, it was just so much fun because you have a group of friends that want to work out and spot you when you need it and just help you move the right way, especially those that have been there for years.
I absolutely love that. And Ebony, I saw you in the back and then you dropped down. So if you wanted to ask a question, feel free to come back in. Or anybody, type your questions in the chat or I'll drop the link one more time. It should be pinned to the top and you all can ask your questions. You can be camera on or camera off. I will say this, ladies. Yes, I love what Lucy said about strength training. We are not training to bulk up, but you want to be strong, especially as you get older, like Lucy and me. You want to make sure that you can, carry your weight and carry things and whatnot. But I would still allow men to be men if they wanted to help you. I've noticed that sometimes with modern women, it's like they're offended if someone wants to open a door or carry something or whatnot. Allow them. Yes, you're there to work out, but ladies, we will never compete with men. We're just built differently. And I will say it until the cows come home. We are not the same. We are not equal. We are equally valued, but we are very different. And I think our differences are beautiful. So, Ebony, if you want to connect, it says devices not connected. And let's see if there's anything else. Anything else to add to that, Lucy?
I had jury duty yesterday. And speaking of, how when you appreciate what men do for you, it just is like it just you know what? They want to be our heroes. Whether you're at home with your husband or whether you're outside, they want to feel like they're needed. So yesterday, of course, I was disqualified. I was dismissed because they asked me this question. I said the wrong answer, which is fine. But as we were walking in and out of the room, as they were, qualifying the juries, there were a couple of men that would say, after you. And then if they do that to you, oh my God, thank you so much. You look at them in the eye and appreciate that chivalry because, again, we don't do that anymore. It's about appreciating the good things that they do. Those little things, they just mean so much. I was going down to this, the elevator was full, so I took the stairs down. There were a couple of men by the water fountain there. They saw me coming. They opened the door for me to go down the stairs. So those are things that we do not appreciate. And we have to start saying thank you so much for that. Just them taking the time to go open the door and just make sure that you're going to be okay going down the stairs. Those are things that unfortunately men have been vilified on doing. And again, we need to start thanking them for it.
Oh my goodness, I absolutely love that. And while we're waiting for more questions, we're about halfway. You all have an hour with us, so we're about halfway through the hour. So feel free to ask away so we can answer your questions. I love what Lucy said about showing appreciation, ladies. This is so important to men. A big part of the reason why they don't do things and they shut down is because they don't feel appreciated. So if you take that time, it doesn't cost you anything. Like Lucy said, to make that eye contact and to smile. So I'm a boy mom. We have two teenage boys, and one of them goes to military school. And sometimes they need cases of water or whatever for sports or whatnot. And the commander, if he sees any woman trying to carry anything, it's a wrap. I mean, literally, you will see the boys stop what they're doing and run. Let me get that for you, Miss Brown. Let me get the door. And so I love that. So for me, in addition to if a gentleman does that, I absolutely love that when I go out with my guy and he's like, the lady gets the first pour. It just makes me feel like a little girl all over again. But when young men do it, especially, sometimes I'm in the South, y'all. I'm in Atlanta. And so it's nothing for a mom or a dad, if they're going in the grocery store and there's a young man, they'll say, get the door for the lady or help the lady. And I thank him because I don't want kids, especially young men. We had a question about that. Again, shout out the Etiquette Summer School is coming July 2024. Lucy and I will be teaching our young men and young ladies. And we'll do some of these practical exercises. But ladies, it's so important that we show appreciation, and I don't care if it's a little kid. I'll look down at him and I'll say, thank you so much, young man. I appreciate you. The little things go a long way. All right, let's see if you all have any other questions. Another question. Oh, some comments. Yeah, y'all are coming through. Okay, yes, the little things we like. Jurgen says the men appreciate restraint, friendliness, and feminine behavior and language always win men over the feminist malice. Ladies, you're hearing it from the men. We have a lot of men who watch. Sometimes they're in the chat, sometimes they're not. But I would say listen to the men. If you want to be with a masculine man, I always give you the disclaimer there's lots of different types of relationships, and femininity isn't for everybody. I accept that. But if you choose it, I think you'll be very happy. Okay, Rebecca says, another question concerning eye contact. What advice would you give to ladies who perhaps struggle with maintaining eye contact during conversations? Ooh, this is a good one. Let me just say this. I think it's not only a personal struggle, but I think for this modern generation, when people are so used to this, it pains me. Having a conversation is almost becoming a lost art. So, yes, you want to make eye contact. It makes a connection. It actually shows the other person respect that you're paying attention to them. And it's just good etiquette. Culturally, if it's culturally appropriate, we do know there's some cultures where younger people don't look at older people. All right, so I learned this, I think it was from Jamila Musayeva. So just giving you all a little bit of what I remember from her class. I've taken lots of these classes. So if you look at the face and neck area as thirds. So from like the forehead down to the nose, this area in the face is, I forgot the name of it, but if you're having a conversation like in business or with a colleague or a stranger, that's the least like intimate place to look. So you want to look in this zone. If it's difficult for you to look at somebody in the eyes, you can look in the center of their forehead, or sometimes people will look in one eye. You don't want to stare. You don't want to do that, but just kind of find a place in this region of the face because it looks to the other person like you are making eye contact. So that's like the outer third. And then this section, like the mouth and like neckline area, is kind of more when you have a relationship with somebody, maybe a more intimate conversation, you know, you're kind of looking at their mouth when they speak or whatnot. That's kind of like the second, third. And then the last would be kind of this area, ladies, like the bosom or whatnot. So just keep that in mind, especially for the gentlemen that are watching. If your eyes start to wander, lift it up, lift it up, lift it up. If she's not your woman, try and keep it in this top third. So hopefully you can find a place in this part of the face where you can kind of make eye contact. So that's what I would say. Lucy, what would you say?
Makes sense to me. There's another question by read the Ebony's question.
Okay, you said read Ebony's question. So let me see. Ebony, I saw you trying to get back here, but it said device not connected. Okay, so Ebony's question. If the first date you both are Dutch, and then the second date you are Dutch, how many dates should you accept Dutch, especially when you want him to take the lead? Oh boy. Okay, so I've been out of the dating game a long time, 2 relationships, a 10-year marriage, a 14-year long term since then. And I feel like my answer is going to be outdated because as women, we should always have money on us and be able to pay for yourself. However, if the first date was Dutch, I probably wouldn't go on the second. Here's my disclaimer, ladies, okay? Don't shout me down. The purpose of dating is to determine if this is a good match for marriage or long term. So to your point, Ebony, if you want to be with a man who is a leader, naturally he is going to want to provide. And I'm not talking about extravagant dates, ladies. Of course, the first date could be a coffee date, ice cream date, or whatnot. But my experience has been put your purse away. So most men that are interested in courting you and want to be a leader in the relationship will lead in the dating. You're not going to be able to change him from being a 50-50 kind of guy into a leader. Now, um, of course, if he offers to pay and you feel obligated to no, let me, cover my part, that's an option. But I just think that you finish how you start. And if you want a masculine man and if you want a provider man, we have to be comfortable with letting them lead. But he chooses the date, he chooses the location. Of course, he may ask you, but I just think allowing him to be the leader from the start, if that's what you want at the end, that's what I would recommend. What would you say, Lucy?
I agree. If on the first date he did not show you that he's got those leadership skills, then that is something to think about. Is is it only a friendship that he's talking about? Because again, it could be that you might think that it's something more serious than what it is. So are you going Dutch all the time because it's more of a friendship than anything else? But on the first date, the man usually, again, just like Maggie, I've been out of the dating game for 16 years plus 11, so it's been a while. But when I divorced and I had a couple of years in between, I knew that from on the first date whether that person was going to be a good fit for a second or third date. So on the first date, if you're looking for a masculine man, he does not show you that he's got those masculine traits, those leadership traits, then maybe it's not a good match.
Yes, and ladies, I'm gonna give you a little bit of another rant and another spanking as we're waiting for the questions. And I know this is probably very contrary to what is taught today, but young ladies especially hear me. I have shared with you my story over and over, married my college boyfriend, got caught up in that modern woman mindset, and I thought we were equal, 50-50. I can do everything a man can do. When you get to our age, 40s and 50s, even in your 30s, ladies, you're going to naturally slow down. And what men don't like, I'm with a 1% man, he will tell you they don't like when you switch up. So if you go 2, 3, 4, 5 dates or whatever, you're like, oh yeah, it's fine. Oh yeah, it's fine. Then you have set the expectation for what you will tolerate. And it doesn't make him a bad person. But growing up, like, boys would go get second jobs or save money or whatever to really impress that girl, to be able to buy her an ice cream or whatever it is. It needs to be earned. So maybe that means we're not able to go out as much. Maybe we have to do less, less extravagant dates, and that's okay. Because again, it's not about the food, it's not about the outing, it's about the connection. So, leading, asking him, it just, I think it sets you up for something you don't want to maintain. But in a relationship, if you want a masculine man, now to Lucy's point, if you're friends, if you're like colleagues, if it's a business setting and you're splitting the bill or whatever, that's different. But just keep all of that in mind. All right, let's see. Charles says, oh, here come the men. Yes, men, please chime in. Let us know. Charles says a traditional man will pay for the first date if she's a traditional woman. Well, I don't have my beverage. I think we can shut it down right there. Thank you for saying that, Charles. And ladies, that just means, how do you show up? And so that's what Lucy and I are here to do, to help you show up as a traditional feminine woman, if that's what you want, so that it's understood and you don't have to do any convincing, because I don't think Lucy or I would have that problem. Okay, let's see. Leanne has a question. If you've been in a committed relationship for years, when do you think marriage should come into play? Good question. So, and I have experience with this one. Ladies, if marriage is what you want, it does need to be one of the earlier conversations. Now, the reason men marry is different from what we think as women. And so in my situation, Post divorce with two minor children, my man said, we have to finish what we start. There's children on both sides. He doesn't want the blended family, and I have to respect that. So my only option was to either wait and get on his program, and I believe he's worth waiting for, or I can exit with grace and find someone who is ready to get married right now. But I think for us, second time around, there's no rush to, have more children. So I was okay with long term. But we had that conversation in the beginning. So this wasn't something that I'm like, it's year one, it's year five, it's year three. Like, it wasn't that. It was a conversation that you had, because if you haven't had this conversation and you've just been in a relationship and you're thinking it's one thing and he's thinking it's something else, it's going to be so much harder, ladies, because again, now you've established something. Well, I really wanted marriage, but you didn't say that. And again, if you want a traditional relationship, men choose and men lead. So you would want to be asking those questions and listening. Is he even marriage minded? And if not, then do you want to be with someone who's just okay with whatever we're doing? I don't know how many years it's been, but obviously, if you're asking the question, then it's on your mind. You want to find a way to bring it up. I'm assuming you haven't brought this up, because there's no timeline. There's no cookie cutter. It should be 6 months or 6 years. I would probably say something like, you know what? First of all, is this a good time to talk? I have my whole communication thing, but I would probably just say, I feel really silly saying this. I probably should have brought this up a long time ago. We get along so well, but um, I've always seen myself, as a wife, and, it doesn't seem to come up from your end. So I just would love to know, what are your thoughts? See how awkward that is when you're in it? It's really one of those things you want to say in the beginning, and then listen and believe him and choose wisely. What would you say, Lucy?
And be prepared to get the answer that you're not expecting, because it seems that you stated that it was for years. It may be a committed relationship that it's okay without the marriage in it. And he might think that was the initial agreement. So again, if you bring it up, be prepared for him to say, I thought we had this commitment and marriage was not part of it. And then it's going to be up to you to decide to either stay or make a hard decision and look for somebody that wants marriage.
Thank you for saying that, Lucy. And yes, I do want to add that as well. Ladies, men marry for legacy and usually children. They want a family of their own that they can raise under their own roof. That's not the only reason, but especially when men are in that phase of life. Now, we're older, it'll be second time around for me if I'm so fortunate. Lucy's married for the second time. After 40, oftentimes marriage is not the the deal breaker. A lot of relationships can be committed and just long term, but ultimately you just have to have a conversation. And if you're happy and he's happy, maybe that's just what you all do. But if you do want marriage, you want to bring it up in a gentle way, but like Lucy said, be prepared for the answer, because what you don't want to do is like, it's like sitting there and it's bothering you and you start to get that attitude, and when that's not okay. So you want to be able to have that conversation. I hope that helps. The Condemned says, I think the notion of going Dutch nowadays is a lot more attributed to learning what the woman is there for when it comes to many men dating today. So many women do not want a coffee date, Fogo only. Well, then I say, this is going to sound harsh, but then she's not the one for you. I don't know. I mean, to me, some of the best dates are, over a home cooked meal. And I like nice things. But ladies, you have to understand, especially if you're expecting a man to provide and pay for it, then you have to appreciate how much of an expense that is. And the way we were raised, like a lot of those fancy dates were special occasions. They weren't first dates. in the beginning, I would be okay with, coffee. Let's see if we even like each other. And I think a lot of young women now, dating has gotten so skewed where it's like, you need to impress me. You need to win me over. You need to, give me something that I can post on the gram or share with my girlfriends. The best dates that I've had, I think about the connection and the memories that were made. Of course, the meal and the trips and all that were great, but it just makes me sad. And Lisa says, or is he cheap? It's definitely good to know. I understand the sentiment, but I think a man who is a masculine provider man who is really vetting a woman for marriage or long term is going to do his best. And I think we should appreciate his best if he's really making the effort. Now, if he's just trying to, get something for nothing, that's a whole different conversation, but that's not the caliber of men we're talking about. What would you say, Lucy?
I think Lisa's comment about the cheap portion was the 50 going Dutch. So that is something that is it's kind of, if he's going Dutch, is he cheap or is he, what's going on here? But for men, I would say that if a woman only sees you leading with the money and the material things, that is not a small red flag, that's a huge red flag. Because again, she's always going to expect more. It's kind of like a, a an endless type attention and wanting kind of feeling. So again, if you lead with money and she wants you to take her to all these places, that's a red flag, at least for me. I know that my first date with my husband was to, a cheap lunch. And I even took my little wallet. I was going to pay for something. And he's like, what are you doing? I don't think so. Put that away. So again, and you do want to make the effort and show that you are willing to maybe pay for the tip, and not even that, they're not going to allow you. It's going to be pretty, it's going to be probably your first argument that you're going to have, but that's what they are going to tell you. No, that's not, I don't want that. Forget about it.
I love that. My first date with my guy, I mean, I've shared with you all the story, someone from childhood reconnected. It was at Chick-fil-A. And it was like a casual lunch, and I had my little purse. I was going to pay for my chicken sandwich. And he was like, put your wallet away. And I was like, okay. And that's an etiquette tip, ladies. If you do offer, and either the man or your host or your boss or says, oh, no, it's on me, that is it. You receive graciously. You say thank you. None of this arguing. Oh, I insist. No, I insist. That is very masculine and it's competitive. All right. So learn to receive graciously. Jurgen says going to the most expensive restaurant is not the solution. Ladies, I've said it before, but I'll say it again. Men fall in love with us over time by who we are to them and what we do for them consistently. If you ever hear a man gushing about a woman or the woman that he loves or has been married to, usually she has put in several years and she has been rock steady for him. Those are the men that realize, you know what, this is a real one right here. Those are the men that it's like, she gets it all. I think a lot of times young women especially are mistaken that you think you're just going to show up and first date, second date, third date, you're going to get the keys to the kingdom. You will not. You have to earn it. And so that is why I will always say you don't need a hot girl summer, because you're wasting time that you need to be building to have a true connection with a man. When you wait till your 30s and your 40s and then you're expecting him to treat you like red carpet whatever, he's like, who are you? I don't know you. So don't fool yourself. When you're ready to get off the carousel, not only will you get in the line, you will get at the back of the line. So if you want that treatment in your relationship, make sure that you have shown that you're really here for him and just not what he can give you. Lucy, we've got a couple comments in Espanol. I know this one. Feliz año nuevo a todos. So happy New Year to you too, to everyone. But Lucy, please.
Says, para mí, una primera cita es divertida y baja inversión, no en extravagantes. Um, to me, the first day should be fun and low investment, not something extravagant. Yeah, they're right.
Absolutely. All right. So the men are confirming. Jose says facts. Thank you all so much. We love hearing from the men. We are the older women teaching the younger women, but thank you. Ah, Leanne says great advice. Thank you, ladies. I'm so glad it's helpful. She says we've had the discussion, but just not in a long time and just curious. Yeah, that's what we do. So we are here for you all every week. Usually it's Wednesdays. It's our wild card Wednesday. You all have us for an hour, so you got about 10 more minutes to get your questions in. Lisa says the truth, very expensive restaurants on a first date always made me uncomfortable. Yes, ladies, men don't spend money foolishly. So, you want to ask yourself, why is he spending without really getting to know you? He wants a return on his investment. And if that's what you want to do, again, I will say, do you over there, but over here, we believe in traditional relationships. All right. Another one, Lucy.
Creo que tal vez hay que fijarse en los tipos de mentalidad de las mujeres. They think that the most important thing is to watch the type of mentality that women have. So, if it's a materialistic mentality, that's a red flag. If it's somebody that wants to have fun and walk with you, by eating ice cream, that is such a good first date. I think that that's something that we need to start learning to learn from each other on not those expensive venture. In fact, if you go to an expensive dinner, he's going to be watching to see whether you're grabbing the right fork, the right knife, or you know which wine you're going to be drinking. So again, he's also vetting you at that point. And again, remember that.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And ladies, look, we're not poo-pooing on the experiences, but there are some things, if you want the fancy dinner, then, maybe you should go there with your girlfriends or take yourself out. But again, the purpose of dating is to establish whether or not this is a match. And I think the dates where you can really be yourself and get to know him, and get creative with it, those will be the ones that I think give you the best memories. And ladies, believe me, you will appreciate the nicer things and the getaways and the trips and the gifts and all of that when you know he's really giving from his heart because he cares about you and not just transactional. Fatima says, thank you, ladies, again for your time. Love to see your beautiful faces and receive the knowledge you give here. You are most welcome. You're most welcome. Rebecca again says, what are things you ladies have done to make sure you do what you need to do on a daily basis? Being disciplined, organized, being up early, not being lazy in both life and relationships. Well, I will say this. I'll give a general answer and then a few specifics. I think a routine is important for all of us, even children, even babies. Having a routine is really important. That's one of the best pieces of advice I was given as a young mother. But for me, I kind of prioritize. Do I write everything down on lists? No, but I do kind of prioritize. I have goals, things that I want to get done for the day. Let me see what categories you have here. Disciplined and organized. I'm pretty organized. I have some pockets of clutter. Paper is an issue for me, and not being lazy. I think for me, naturally, I do have a lot of energy. But here's the thing, because we all do what we want to do. For me, it's about being productive with something each day. It's that incremental progress. It's like if you have this laundry list of all the things you want to do, you'll feel that overwhelm and then you'll just be paralyzed and you won't do anything. So for me, it could be, I have my daily routines, I get up, I work out, I take a shower, all of that. But I'll have one thing that I want to do. I work from home. So let's say it's a corner that's kind of cluttered that I need to go through and give away stuff for the donate. If I got that task done, then I feel productive and I'll move something else to the next day. But I just try and have one thing that I can say was a success. What about you, Lucy?
I agree. I think that tackling tasks on a like baby steps, do one or two things that you think are going to uh, be good, to declutter or to clean your bathroom or to do the laundry or just I think it's good to form that routine. It's and it's also it has to do with the personality. I know that Maggie is like a little busy aunt, and sometimes when I hear her schedule, I'm already tired for her. Whereas me, I'm the introvert. I'm more chilled. I like to do things, little by little. Even when I clean the house, I put music on. I do the living room. I'm dancing. Then I get tired, and then I go and sit in front of social media to see. Then I start again. So again, it has to do with your personality. As long as you find something productive that you've done throughout the day on a daily basis, I work from home too, but I make sure that I take a shower in the morning. I dress up like I'm going to work, of course, leisure wear because I'm not going to be wearing a suit in my own house. But just doing my makeup a little bit, doing my hair, making sure that I smell nice for my husband because he's working next door to me. He's got his studio over here, and sometimes I hear him. So I need to, just just look to the day as if you're going to be something really productive, and you create your own schedule. Again, you don't have to be completely on the dot, A, B, C, D, E, but it's something that gives you purpose, and at the end of the day you say, wow, I accomplished something.
I love that. I see you escape the rat race. We see you in here. So, to close out, ladies, and hopefully that was helpful, but let me just, the takeaway, one of the things I learned on my elegance journey, and this is a struggle for me, but elegance is not rushed. So when you wake up and you feel like you have 101 things to do, it almost gives you that like anxiety. You're not in your most feminine state. You're not in your most, relaxed or elegant state. So try to prioritize. And I always tell the ladies that I consult with, do less and be more. It doesn't mean you're not productive, but tackling the day and being all like, I got to get this done, it's very masculine and you'll just wear yourself out. Lucy is right, and you all know we are opposites. I'm the extrovert, shocker. Lucy is the introvert, but whether you call us MaggieLu, Kid and Play, Salt and Pepper, shout out to you, Zoom to Thailand, I'm thinking Ebony and Ivory. Anyway, we all have a certain uh, tendency to do things our own way. So just try to do your best and make sure that you feel accomplished in one or two things, and you'll be fine. Erin Laura says this was helpful. Rebecca says thank you, Maggie and Lucy, for these sessions. They are like pearls that you share with us. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad it's helpful. All right, Lucy, do you have any final words to close us out tonight?
Thank you for being here, you all. Thank you for the moderators. They're always here helping us out with some of the links and the information. Thank you so much. And let's see, Kea says, ya sea hombre o mujer, antes del matrimonio, deben verse el tipo de familia y cómo interactúan entre sí. Whether it's a woman or man between, in marriage, you gotta take a look at the type of families and the interaction within the families, because that's a good indication on the learning that he or she have done because of the stuff that has been modeled from the family.
I love that. And that could be a whole nother episode. Y'all know raising these boys with their dad, that's important to me. But I think it circles back to what we talked about earlier with the dating. If you choose a woman that comes from a solid family, she has seen times of plenty and times of lack. she has seen mom and dad work things out, and has, I would say, probably a more realistic appreciation. Sometimes we women, you know how we are, we're chaotic and we want the princess treatment. That's just not the real world. So ladies, take time and enjoy. All right, so as we close out, one more time, we announced, so for those of y'all that just hopped in, we're letting you know Lucy and I will be teaching in July of 2024 the Etiquette Summer School for young ladies and young men ages 5 to 15. It will be a Saturday school. There are 4 Saturdays in July. So stay tuned. If you want to be the first to know, you can sign up for our email list. Go to teachablemomentswithmaggie.com. And we can't wait to teach the little ones. So we will be back uh, next Wednesday, should be. But we appreciate you all so much. And thank you, Mrs. Crow T. Shetty, as always, coming through for the support. So we will let you all have your evening, and we'll go ahead and dismiss. Adios.
Adios.